Hello and welcome to this edition of Crossover. I'm Qi Xiaojun with Charlotte and Julian. In June, June is a busy month. We have the World Cup, we have the Shanghai TV Festival, Shanghai Film Festival, and there is also one festive event going on in Beijing. It's the Wedding Exposition. It seems to be an annual event. And in this Wedding Exposition, it lasts for 3 days, and 1,288 companies from 22 countries representing 20 different industries are represented in this exhibition. These are just some of the pictures showing the scene of this. Whoa, this is fantastic. This is showing the scene of the wedding exposition. Wow. Yeah, before we move on, let's just take a look. Wow, this
goodness.
This is beautiful.
That
must be awfully expensive.
This is
dream wedding dress,
the Han Dynasty costumes. You know, Han Dynasty is the dynasty over 2,000 years ago. I guess this is one of the cars, wedding limos. Yeah.
Wedding limo. Unreal.
And the Western wedding gowns. It's a huge business.
June is a fabulous time to have something like this going on, because I think anywhere in the world, really, June is one of the most
summertime,
popular months
warm
to have weddings, and
It's starting to be hot, but it's not the
too
hottest.
Hot yet.
Yes, it's perfect.
And you make a wild guess of how many couples get married in China for each year.
How many couples in China each
a
year?
Lot.
I don't know.
That's 10
million.
10 million. It's nearly 10 million. It's
really?
around 9, 10 million, 8 million people.
That was totally.
You get some discount for that, World Expo.
I couldn't guess. Xiaojun told me beforehand.
You're still trying to pretend you don't know.
I didn't read the script, so I don't.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, it's the festive season. The weddings are always the hot topic. Weddings are like the happy business, the wedding expo. It's a happy industry, happy expo. Now, and today we'll go through two parts, actually. The traditional ways of getting married in China, and what do people exactly do in these days. And let's just start from the traditions.
Great. I love Chinese weddings.
Yes, but
I love them.
You did not get married with a Chinese tradition.
No, I didn't. But I love Chinese weddings regardless.
I mean, it should be good to know. And actually, at this wedding expo, we did see some traditional costumes, like the one I mentioned, the Han Dynasty costumes, or the ones that we might see very often in movies, in Chinese movies. Maybe just let's take a look at some of the pictures, old pictures or little footage from one of the famous films directed by Zhang Yimou. This is a little clip from his film Red Shogun. That's Gong Li.
Yeah. Okay.
The bridal chariot.
Wow, this is scary. It reminds me of. Have you ever been on a camel before?
No.
Yes.
Well, it's like this.
It's quite lurching.
It's like this.
Yeah.
You feel they put you on the camel and you're not even straight. Wow.
I love all the instruments. I mean traditional, traditional, like this kind of traditional scene is, there's a lot of Chinese traditional instruments that are played, especially the suona, which is like a Chinese trumpet almost.
Yeah.
It's very loud.
Yeah, high-pitched.
And very high-pitched, and it's a festive instrument that's both played at weddings and funerals.
It's close to the sound of an oboe. I mean, it's closer. It's kind of very narrow, nasal sound. They should mix someday this instrument and the Western. Or
But Julian, let's go back to the wedding. What do we do? It's always the sedan chair, and the color is always red. Traditionally, red is the auspicious color.
It's a happy color. It also scares away evil spirits.
That's true. So it's always the sedantia, and before the standard sedantia goes to the bride's family, it'll be staying outside the groom's family, and just to let people know, you know, this is the happy day for us. We are going for the big day.
Married.
Exactly, and the sedantia is moving like this.
Right.
And they have little meaning for that. This is like the way to block away all the evils possible.
Just sort of shake them out and
right. Make it difficult for them to get in.
I think it's also a way to tell the bride, you're going to have a rough life. Get prepared from now on.
No.
Hey, when the sedantia arrives at the groom's family, and when it stops before the bride comes out of the sedantia, they have to, you know, use the carpet. Just make sure the bride doesn't touch on the ground before she gets into the family. And I guess, I mean, this is also happening in many places these days in China. And lots of the many things they do have some symbolic meanings. Like before they go into the groom's family, you know, there is a basin of fire, and the bride has to go over the basin of fire to cross the basin of fire.
It was a symbolic sort of, I have now crossed the fire into your family, and I'm now part of your family. And
according to your interpretation, it would be, this is fire. I know this is, you know, difficult enough, but I'm over this. But actually it's not. The symbolic meaning is your life will be as prosperous, passionate as fire.
You know what? It's actually, what I was saying was a joke, but it actually works in the other direction. There are some places where they actually make life really tough for the groom on that day, just so that he can
warning, yeah.
No, it's so that he can prove to everyone that and especially the bride's family, that he is up to the job, up to the task, and he will take care of her. And they usually have some physical tasks. I mean, in some of I know some of the different minorities in the south of China, I've seen things like that.
In the wedding ceremony, at the reception part, there would be the 3 bows that you might have seen in many Chinese films.
Yes.
And how do you translate that?
The 3 bows. The first bow is to heaven and earth.
Yeah.
And the second bow is to your parents. And the third bow is to each other.
To each other.
Actually, when I got married, it was a Christian wedding ceremony, as is my background, but we did bows. We added bows
in the Chinese
ceremony.
Ways.
Yeah.
So you did it in China or
No, we did it in the States, but we mixed elements of Chinese wedding in Chinese tradition.
So here's my question.
Western tradition.
I'm kind of sure that your friends just love it. I don't know, but this is my
But you didn't have the veil.
They liked the ceremony. No, I didn't have the Chinese veil. No,
I'm telling you, because especially a lot of people in the West now just love the Chinese traditions. And even if they don't know exactly what it means, but they think it's really interesting to see those kind of things.
I think this specific point, and then we'll keep going with the traditions, but I think it's really nice, the acknowledgement and the recognition that goes on at a Chinese wedding for parents, for family. I mean, that kind of acknowledgement and show of respect during a ceremony that's really about 2 people, you know, I find very refreshing and very nice. Because oftentimes in Western weddings, not all Western weddings, but more traditional Western weddings, it's all about the bride and groom, you know, and that's a great thing, and it should be, because it's their wedding. But I do love the element in Chinese weddings of really focusing on the parents as well.
And there is one more thing they should do, you know, again, regarding to their parents, because this is the moment where they have to change, say, the way to call the parents.
Yes, 改口.
改口. It's before it's...
This is, yeah.
This gets into how titles and names are so important to Chinese culture. And before a couple gets married, they might call their future...
In the future, they might not even get the chance to meet.
Right. So they might, so maybe they haven't met them, but if they have, it's usually uncle and auntie, 叔叔 and 阿姨.
Exactly.
And then after, or during